Welcome back, folks. I'm Jake Ellenbogen, and today we are finally going to get to the linebackers. That's right, inside linebackers looking for a playmaker this offseason. Well, we're going to get into it. Before we dive into it, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Also, be sure to follow me on all social media at JK Bogan, including Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Kick. And in addition to that, I just want to let you guys know that today's sponsor is Mando, and you can get $5 off your starter pack if you're looking to get rid of odor anywhere. You can go and check out Mando, shopmando.com. You will use the code JKBogan, and again, it'll get you $5 off that starter pack. So get in on the action today with Mando, and again, JK Bogan is the code. So guys, we are finally at the inside linebacker spot, and to be honest with you, this little mini series has been a little bit of a challenge for me. If you can't tell, I'm releasing these videos in bulk. Now, is this, just throwing stuff at the wall? No, this is hours upon hours of research that I've been doing in the time frame that you probably have been waiting for a video. That's just the reality. Just because a video is not out, don't assume I'm not working. That's an issue of mine. I work too much. So looking at the linebackers, interesting free agency class. I think you have some good talent here, some really good talent, some good talent, and some talent that makes you go, okay. So we're going to get into that. First off, let me just make this very clear. I'm not against bringing back Christian Rozeboom for the right price. Now, I am against just being, okay, Christian Rozeboom's back when you know that is one of your weakest links. Good player, did some things this past year, but if I'm playing him or Omar Speights, it's going to be Omar Speights every time. And so I really want them to go out and find a guy that can deconstruct blocks, find a guy that can really go sideline to sideline, help him in, the passing game and coverage, be able to blitz. Rozeboom can do those things, just not as well as some of the others on this list. So we'll start from the bottom, go to the top. Jack Sanborn is the first one. You could argue Christian Rozeboom is better, but Sanborn's intriguing. He's a good athlete, 24 years of age, good run defender. I think he's worth adding to the roster. This is more of a depth option, though. Okay, this is like, okay, yeah, we didn't bring back Jake Hummel. Let's go and get Jack Sanborn. I'm not saying Sanborn should start, but he's intriguing. Next up, number 9, we have 29-year-old Robert Spillane coming off a career season, absolute tackling machine. But here is why he's 9th and not higher on this list. Not because he's 29. It's because I think he's still going to cost quite a bit. He's coming off his best year of his career. There is going to be some team out there that wants a tackling machine. They're going to spend a lot of money. And to be honest with you, I just don't think that makes a ton of sense for the Rams. But it makes a little sense, I guess, to go out and get Spillane for the right price. So I kept him on this list. Number 8. You've probably heard of his name before on this channel, Akeem Davis-Gaither. This is the guy that I really liked coming out of App State in the draft. Hasn't quite lived up to what I expected him to be, but he's 27. He had a down year, really good athletic profile. This to me is kind of taking a swing, but also you're bringing him in as depth and maybe the potential to develop him into a starter. This is not a guy you bring in to start next to Omar Speights. This is a guy that you bring in as the third option. So I like Akeem Davis-Gaither. I don't like him enough to say I'm going to start him. That's why he is in 8th. 7th, I think this is a guy that can start. Okay, he's a little bit of a, I don't want to call one-year wonder. I think he's shown some really good flashes in the past, but Devin Bush is a really interesting player. It feels like he's been in the league forever. He was drafted 10th overall by the Pittsburgh Steelers. They traded up to get him. He's 26 years of age. He just has best year as a Brown. Good against the run. Work in progress in coverage, I would say, but he is still incredibly athletic. He's filled out, got a 230 to 240 frame, but he stands at 5'11". And I'm not one to ever say that size is a skill, because it's not. But at the same time, 5'11" for a linebacker and a 3'4" typically, I don't love that. So that's why he falls at 7th here. But I still think if you put him next to, and to be fair, there's another guy on this list that's also, smaller. He just has a better, I just trust him more, to be honest with you, a better body of work. But Devin Bush playing next to Omar Speights, I don't think that would be a bad combination at all. Still, he falls to 7th. 6th here on this list is EJ Speed from the Colts. He's 29, going to be 30 soon. Good run stopper, good overall athlete, not bad in coverage. Just a down year, in coverage. But this is a good player. Is he a great player? No, but he's a good player. Good player. Has made a name for himself in this league. I think he'd be a solid option. My only thing is, how much is he going to get paid? If he gets paid a lot, I'm out. I think he's worth maybe $5 to $8 million. Anything more than that, I'd be out on. Number 5 is Tyrell Dodson. I wanted him last year. He ends up going to Seattle. Then he gets traded to the Dolphins. He's 26. He's an outstanding coverage linebacker, probably one of the best coverage linebackers. He's a good run defender. That was on Seattle, not on Tyrell Dodson. This guy can play. Miami knew that. That's why they went out and got him. But he's still only 26 years old. He had an incredible year, his last year in Buffalo. I think Dodson's a stud. I'd be all for going after Dodson, putting him next to Omar Speights. I think that would make a lot of sense. Number 4, Cody Barton, the 29-year-old linebacker coming over from the Broncos. One of the top tacklers, right? Just one of the best pure tackling linebackers that you're going to find in free agency or the league. He's good all around. He's going to be cheaper because he's up there in age, and he's not the sexy name. Like, no one thinks Cody Barton and they're like, oh, superstar, but he's a good player, good athlete. He can deconstruct blocks. I don't have any worry about him. Takes great angles. So I feel pretty good about Cody Barton, talking about him. So next up, we have number 3 here. You guys will know his name very well. Dre Greenlaw from the 49ers. I don't know why, and I'm not saying that I want this to happen. He is a pretty decent option, at least on a 1-year prove-it deal. Of course, this past year didn't play a lot, rehabbing from the torn Achilles in the Super Bowl, but Dre Greenlaw is intriguing to me. He's one of the best linebackers, without a doubt, when healthy. He had an Achilles tear, and then I watched the tape, and I didn't really see a huge drop-off in his play. As a matter of fact, I think he looked pretty much the same, which is incredible. You got to give him credit. He might be a dirty player in a lot of ways, but, got to give him credit there. So does it make sense for the Rams to get him? I mean, it does. If you're looking for a guy that makes a lot of sense to go next to Omar Speights, it really depends. We're going to find out how the Rams feel about Omar Speights. If the Rams think Omar Speights is going to be special and he needs just some help, some tutelage, whatever. Dre Greenlaw, I know he's 27, but he is a veteran in this league. He is an established linebacker. When healthy, he's a top 10 backer in football. That would be, 1-year deal with him tells me, okay, we trust Omar Speights long term. Now, if you get into a 3, 4, 5-year deal, it can still mean you really like Speights. Also, that time will be up at the same time as Speights, so another contract will have to be renewed and all that. But I just feel like Greenlaw, 1-year deal, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I do see him in horns for whatever reason. I don't know why. I normally don't look at 49ers and say Ram, but yeah, right out of the meme, Ram. Dre Greenlaw, I don't know. I kind of have a weird feeling, and that's something that they're going to end up doing. I don't know why, but maybe I'm wrong. Number 2, a guy who's also played in a Super Bowl. He's won Super Bowls. He's been a key and critical component to winning a Super Bowl. Nick Bolton, who also stands at 5'11", 237. Pretty much the same thing as Devin Bush. But I feel like he's found a better way to play at that size. Whereas Devin Bush, you still see him get bullied by taller receivers in coverage. I trust Nick Bolton more. He's a good coverage linebacker. He is a true sideline to sideline linebacker. He has big game experience. He's, played in Super Bowls. He's come up with huge plays. He's got a nose for the football. When push comes to shove, Devin Bush is the cheaper version of Nick Bolton. Both are young. Bush is actually older, believe it or not, 26. Nick Bolton is currently 25 years of age. What's funny is he was drafted one pick after Tutu Atwell, so the Rams have a chance to do something funny and add Nick Bolton, and also after signing Tutu Atwell. I like Bolton a lot. He's a low-key star. I think that's a real driving force. You did lose Cooper Kupp, or you're getting rid of Cooper Kupp. So there needs to be new blood, I would say. Obviously, you got your Puka Nacua, you got your Matthew Stafford, but the City of Angels, there's got to be some stars, right? Well, Nick Bolton is a star. He is. He's played on the biggest stage. He's showed up on the biggest stage. He's forced some fumbles. He's scored touchdowns. He's done wonders. I think he'd be a fantastic fit for the Rams. Just can really do it all. And there's not really a liability in his game. He can still get off his blocks despite not being the tallest guy. It doesn't matter. He still has 237 pounds on him. So I don't have any worry about that. I think Bolton makes a lot of sense for the Rams. And last but certainly not least of the free agents, we got Jamien Sherwood, who I literally teased would be in this video. It took 11 minutes to get to him, but I teased he'd be in this video, the last video. Okay, I could not wait to talk about this guy. I'm such a big fan of his. Covered the Jets, knew what they had in him. Rising star. Not as well known as Nick Bolton, but knowers of ball know him. This is a guy that has played in 56 games. He's had 23 starts, 235 tackles, 2.5 sacks, converted from safety to linebacker, kind of like Mark Barron, who was also on the Rams. And, by the way, has played in the Sean McVay era, for what it's worth. Led the NFL in solo tackles. First year starting, by the way, at linebacker. Gets 1,000+ snaps. He leads the league in solo tackles. The guy is awesome. He's fun to watch. Sideline to sideline linebacker. One of the better coverage linebackers, and you see it on tape. The defensive background is what is evident, clear as day. I thought early on, before we got to this point, I thought he would fly under the radar. But I'm an idiot. I've been doing this way too long. These guys that can play, they don't fly under the radar when they're 25 years of age, okay? It just doesn't happen. When I made my video on the top 10 favorite defensive free agents, you might have forgotten about that video. Hell, I forgot about the video. He came in at number 1, ahead of Nick Bolton. So I've maintained my liking for this player. He's not your ideal, size at linebacker, 6'2", 216. Maybe they ask him to add some bulk, but he plays at that size, and that's what allows him to have those crazy angles, to be that sideline-to-sideline guy that help him in coverage. He's got a defensive back body. He's a little bit filled out, looks a little bit more like a linebacker on tape, but yeah, it's an interesting. It's very interesting because he doesn't have the stereotypical linebacker look, and we're talking about guys not being able to get off their blocks, but yet I watch him and he can get off his blocks. Now, he's not going to, absolutely deconstruct blocks on the level of Dre Greenlaw, who, fun fact, didn't even make my top 10. Interesting. I'm looking at my list right now, and all 4 of the linebackers that were 1, 2, 3, and 4 on my list made this list. A little bit different, I guess, some mixing and matching, but yeah, not even, that's pretty crazy. Now, I just think I've become a little bit more open-minded on Greenlaw because I think it's becoming a little bit more realistic. Now that he's definitely, it seems like he's leaving the 49ers, and it looks like they're trying to find a 1-year deal for him. I think that's a realistic thing. I wouldn't sign him long-term. I wouldn't give him a ton of money, but maybe some incentives and what have you. But Jamien Sherwood, I'd give this guy 3 years, $33 million right now. And I think the Rams, what they could do, and keep in mind where this is coming from, the Alaric Jackson, the Alaric Jackson contract. Alaric Jackson in 2025 has a $7 million cap hit. After that, it's 24 and 24. In 2026 and 2027, fun fact you might not know, 2027 is not guaranteed at all. So they can basically move on from him with very, very limited dead money. When it comes to a guy like Jamien Sherwood, who is coming off his first year as a starter, over 1,000 snaps, all of that, which is great. But at the same time, he's only started 1 year. Perfect time to have that type of season. What does that look like? Well, I think you could get him on, say a $7 million cap hit in year 1, year 2, 13, and year 3, 13. And there you go. Right there, you have your $33 million over 3 years. I think the Rams clearly want to do some things this offseason. I think they want to do some things in front, backload these contracts with the, increased cap space. I think they still have big plans ahead. I think Jamien Sherwood makes the most sense in the world. So we have other parts of this video. We still have to talk about potential trade options and the draft, at least just go over the names. I'm not going to get it too much into it. You know the drill. But I love Sherwood. And if they end up with Jamien Sherwood, I'm going to feel twice as good as I did when Cam Curl was picked up, because I loved Cam Curl. I've always loved Cam Curl, loved his game. Did not think for a second he would be available. And he signed, and I was just shocked. So, Jamien Sherwood is my guy. But we'll get into my top 3 at the end of this video. Let's get into the potential trade options. We got Devin Lloyd from the Jaguars. This one feels like the worst kept secret. You're going to trade him. At least just trade him already. It's so obvious. They've been phasing him out. Unless the new, regime wants to pay him, he's getting traded. Speaking of which, Quincy Williams with the Jets. New regime, does he get traded? I think it's a possibility. The Jets, we'll see. I don't know. I don't know if they want to break up the band between Quincy and, of course, his brother. But at the same time, I don't know. I think Quincy Williams would be a fantastic fit. Another Jets linebacker. So if they miss out on Jamien Sherwood, you trade for Quincy Williams, you got a guy that can do everything. And then Troy Anderson, the linebacker from, Montana State, I believe. The thing with Troy Anderson has been the injuries, but this is a guy that is an elite athlete, and he's played some decent football in Atlanta. And you have that connection with Raheem Morris and so forth. So maybe, Sean McVay gives Raheem Morris a call, says, hey, can Troy still play? I see he doesn't really have a role right now for the Falcons. Do you want to send him over here? And there you go. So that's simple. Devin Lloyd is an outstanding tackler, probably going to be one of the best tacklers you've ever seen at linebacker, but he is a liability in coverage. Quincy Williams doesn't have anything he is the best at, but he is the jack of all trades in a lot of respects. And Troy Anderson hasn't really proven anything, but his athletic profile is worth taking a gander on. So then you have your draft. In your draft prospects, I have 15 linebackers here. Jalen Walker, no idea if he'll be there at 26, but figured I'd mention him. Jahad Campbell, Demetrius Knight Jr., Barrett Carter, Chris Paul Jr., Carson Schwessinger, Danny Stutzman, Smail Mondin, Jeffrey Bassa, Cody Simon, Kobe King, David Walker, Jay Higgins, Kareen Reed, and Jack Kaiser. So keep an eye on those. So just like every single video we've done in this mini-series, we are down to the final 3. Who are the 3 best options for the Rams to start next to Omar Speights? Well, number 1 is Jamien Sherwood. No doubt about it. Number 2 is Nick Bolton. And number 3 is Trey Greenlaw. I'm sticking with the free agents. I love the idea of getting Devin Lloyd. I don't love the idea of giving away draft capital when I can get a guy like Sherwood or Nick Bolton in free agency. And I know there is going to be a market for these guys. When you have teams that are over $100 million in salary cap, they're ready to absolutely inflate the market because they know, especially being the New England Patriots, having over 120 million, they know the only chance that a Jamie Sherwood or Nick Bolton is going to choose the Patriots over what the Rams are doing or the Eagles or what have you is because of money. And not a little bit. We're talking about a huge overpay on purpose. Okay. It is a weaker free agency class. The linebacker class, however, is pretty darn good. So Jamie and Sherwood, I'd say 3 years, 33 million, maybe 36 million tops. But again, I think a 3-year deal. I don't think the Rams creep into the 4-year deals at all in this free agency. So I'm just telling you that now. Nick Bolton, I think, would be about the same, maybe 3 years, 40 million, just because he's more known than Jamie and Sherwood. So he'd probably be more expensive. And then Dre Greenlaw, I'm going to say it's 1 year, 8 million with incentives to get up to 11 million. That's how I see it. Those are the most realistic valuations I think I can give. I could be absolutely wrong, but based on my measure, that's how I feel. Spotrac doesn't seem to be high on Sherwood. They have him getting about $7 million a year. That's fine, but I think he's going to get more than that. So anyway, that is that. You guys let me know your top 3 at linebacker. I think this is a very important piece to the year. I think if you add one more guy on that defense, you can bring back Ahkello Witherspoon, bring back Bobby Brown, bring back Michael Hoyt. But if you're able to acquire a game-changing linebacker, run it back with this defense, look at how that defense got better and better and better as they went on. Everyone keeps trying to make it out to be like this team needs a top-flight corner. They don't. They need another linebacker. They need a guy to be able to deconstruct blocks. They need a guy that's going to finish. They need a guy that's going to be able to chase down Saquon Barkley. Cut him off, right? And guess what? Sherwood, Bolton, and Dre Greenlaw, of course, fully healthy Dre Greenlaw can do that. So those are my thoughts. Let me know in the comment section below. Like I said, I'm all for Sherwood, but Bolton and Greenlaw are not bad options after them. So again, be sure to check me out on all social media at JK Bogan. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Check out today's sponsor, Mando. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, folks. Later. All right, guys. So once again, just want to let you guys know that you can check out my new side project, The Lounge. I interview athletes, musicians, actors, actresses, all the 9. So definitely check it out over on the Lounge with Jake Ellenbogen channel. Be sure to subscribe and enjoy. In case you guys haven't noticed, I do have a Discord channel for my community on this channel. And if you want to be a part of it, it is free. The link is in the description below. You can sign up. This is basically a 24/7 Rams channel, and we are almost at 1,100 members. So if you want to be a part of it, just hit the link in the description below.